Hello, everyone. I'm Jay Prazo, and today I have another installment of Commerce Corner. This is just a short video series I do on a variety of career, business, and personal finance topics. And this month, we're going to be taking a look at one of the final hurdles to the job hunt process, interviews. Now, I like this quote. It's from the author of most well-known for the Lemon Sticky series, because interviews can be stressful. After weeks, if not months, applying to places, you finally get that call. First, you're happy, and then as you get closer and closer to that date, the dread starts creeping in. Like, is my resume good enough? I think I'll do this. And this can be especially true if you've been out of the workforce for a while. And you're right to be nervous. There's a lot on the line. A good job means a lot, not just to secure your income, but because that's part of where you've been spending a major part of your day there at your work. It's a major part of life. But there are several things that you can do to make it not as stressful and prepare you for your next interview. Short table of contents. It's mostly for if you want to download the slides. First, we're covering just basic info of the job market, and then a few tips on general communications. Now, I don't know if you've heard, but many people are quitting their jobs. As of August 2000 this year, over 4 million Americans, or 2.9% of the entire workforce, quit their jobs. This is also concurrent with there being over 10 million job openings nationwide. Now, what this means, the odds are right now in your favor. It's much easier to actually land interviews and find better positions with better pay and benefits. Even jobs with notoriously high turnover rate, like fast food, retail, or warehouse work, I see tons of signs showing like an increased bump in pay or other benefits as well. Even here at the library, we have like 6 positions open now, which is like never happened. Overall, if you are looking for a job, you're seeking a job, the odds are in your favor. So go into your next interview with that in mind. If this one doesn't work out, there's always gonna be another one. Now, that's just some general tips. We'll be covering specific questions later. Not every question come up in every interview. That's why it's have a good game plan just to know how interview generally flows. 1, do your research. Now, hopefully you read a bit about the company when you apply to them, but once the interview is lined up, go to the job posting and reread it. Look for keywords, underlying things. Look for the skills and experiences that they are asking for. Now, these will come up during the interview. Next, go to the most common interview questions for the industry you're applying to. Outline key answers for each one and rehearse them. Next, be positive and enthusiastic. Look like you want the job. Do not speak poorly of previous employers, even if they deserve it. If you had to bring up something about a previous employer that you disliked, say any criticism about the situation, not individuals involved. Think about how the job fits into what you value and your life goals. This will help make your answers more honest and enthusiastic. Use your resume as an outline. If you're stuck on something or don't know what to do, look over your resume. This is the document you and the potential employer hopefully both looked over. It's basically to guide how the conversation flows. And this is very important when answering questions. Give context examples for every question you can. Don't just say that you're a good people or a hard worker. Those statements are basically meaningless. Show them that you are. Match the things you've done in your professional career or life to claims and demands in the job. Like if a question comes up on how to deal with an unruly customer, share a story about how you handle particularly your end customer, and this will be a really solid way to show your customer service skills. Now, if you're into a question that you can't quite answer, do your best to if you can and show you're willing to learn. Be flexible. And most of all, be the memorable candidate. The goal of the entire process is to be memorable. The employer is going to be interviewing many, many other people, some that may be more qualified than you. You must be the person that sticks out in the hiring manager's mind when it comes time to make a decision. Now, a note on body language. I'm happy a professor of psychology at the University of California is well known for proposing the 7-38-55 rule for personal communication. In brief, persuasiveness comes from 7% body language, 7% from what you actually say, 38% from your tone of voice, and 55% from your body language. Basically, how you say something and why you look while saying it is more important than what you're actually saying. Now, if you know nothing about your saying, that's a problem. But if you do have experience in a certain area, you know what you can do. It's not going to come off well if when you deliver your answer stuttering or you're nervous about it. So keep that in mind when you're answering questions. I saw this concept come a lot while researching for this talk, and it can make or break any attempt at personal communication with another person. Each party, both applicant and employer, can fail this, but you can only control your side of it. Now put things in more concrete details. Eye contact. I saw several success as feels like maintain a good eye contact is one of the best things you can do when you're communicating with somebody. Second, stay positive. Smile, good posture, try to fidget, don't touch your face, and just do what you need to do to feel at ease. It's supposed to be an interview is to some degree a conversation. You want things to feel flow and feel natural. And overall, mirror. Match the tone of the interviewer and share a common body language. Like say if they lean in and they're if they're more jokey, try to mirror that. If they're more serious, just match their tone. Now, I used to have this slide at the end of presentation, but online and phone reviews are becoming more and more are basically the standard now. It used to be more of if a particular position got a lot of applicants, they would do pre-screen phone reviews to weed out some of them. But again, because of the current state of the world, this is now becoming fairly common. Now, if you do have one of these lined up, keep these in mind. Make sure your interconnection is secure and will not drop out during the call. Know the device you're working with. See that sound from either the computer or your headphones plays and that your mic is working. What you need to do is, what you're going to do is going to depend on what device you're using. Say if you use a laptop with an external mic, or maybe you have something that's wired on Bluetooth. But get all the technical issues out of the way before the actual day of the interview. See that your camera's working so they can see you. Again, I've said this several times, but smile. You should be doing this even in in-person interview, but it's especially important here. If you're on a video call, all they can see is your face. So you have to maintain that like foot-wide box that they can see. And last, control your environment. If you're interviewing outside of an office setting, like you would in a traditional interview, not being there can bring all sorts of additional distractions. Say if you're at home, it could be from family, pets, or all the wonderful noises of the outside world. Try to have interviews in a quiet place. Tell housemates to lower your voice or noise as long as you hear less. Walk the dog, say to your kids, get everything you need to done before the interview starts so it doesn't become an issue during. Now, if the home is going to work, try to find another place in advance. And if you are a patron of our library, oh, I do see Div 110 thank you for joining us. You're free to ask questions. I'll be looking at the Q&A and chat. I'll try to get to anything you have between slides. Thank you for coming. Again, I was going to say, specific to the library, we do have several options that can help. We have the third floor study rooms, which are little private fairly quiet study rooms you can use. I see people checking out Chromebook or bringing a laptop all the time to have like a online interview with those. It's a really good spot. They're not soundproof, but they're quiet proof. So if you talk in normal conversational voice, they are one of your best options. And again, those are free to use with the library card or a simple borrow card if you happen to be close to us and you get one of those set up in advance. But try not to generally if you come in the morning, you'll generally have everybody come like say around 2 or 3. That's how I definitely recommend you have one of the rooms booked in advance. Questions. The majority of the interview is just asking questions. So this is going to be becoming a very important part of this presentation. I covered a bit before in the general guidelines, but here's some just specifically for answering questions. Give context and examples as often as you can. If you don't have an answer to a question, come back to it later or try to lay it something you can. Avoid the long pause. There's a good amount of pausing just to give yourself a chance to think, that's fine. But the long awkward pause where your mind goes blank, do your best to not do that. Be honest. Be clear about what you need, and don't be afraid to talk about your skills. And now, like I said, not every question is going to come up in every interview, but these are the ones that will be most common. And I recommend no matter what career or kind of interview you're going into, have these answers outlined in advance. You don't need to give the exact answer, but just have something you can give as a general outline. Now, I want to focus on these 3 key ones first because they feed into all the others. First, why do you want to work here? Don't give simple answers like the money's good or it's a short job answers. Don't do that. It's really a question on if you fit into the company culture, if you're growth oriented. That fit is what most employers are looking for. Show them you share their values. Next, why should we hire you? Give examples that show you can do the work. Like I said before, give examples from previous jobs, education, or life experiences to back this up. Show them what you have over the other applicants. Now, why did you leave your last job? Or maybe if you've been out of the job market for a while, what else you've been doing? They're looking for red flags. Be honest, but again, nothing negative about your previous company or boss, and spin any reason why you didn't or don't currently like it in a positive way. Try not to look at job hopper. And said if you have been, I'll get that later. Oh, another point. While answering questions, do your best to relate things as a story. You're trying to sell them the story about you. That's going to be much more persuasive than just listing off facts. Which is a good example here when you say that if you're asked, tell me about yourself, which is one of the most common questions you hear at the beginning of the interview, like just tell me who you are. They mean this in context of the position and your career. They don't need your whole life story, but if you can relate some of your life story into the interview, it'll make you much more personable and humanize you to the interviewer. Try to limit personal stories where you can, unless they relate to the job. Like if you like to volunteer in some area, bring that up. Say if you do something like childcare, you do have children, then more stories about your family life will be very good to bring up. Strengths. What makes you stand out? What do you have over the other candidates? What can you leverage to help solve their problems and needs? Oh, weaknesses, that's where I was. Be honest, but don't give non-weaknesses like, I work too hard. The best answer is to give a weakness that you have conquered or things you're currently doing to conquer it. Another option is to give a weakness that doesn't really interact with the job, with the primary needs of the job description. Like I said, it wouldn't disqualify you from the job. Anything that's like kind of an issue. But again, if you do have weakness, always frame it as something that's not primary and that you're doing things to overcome it. Now, explain job gaps. This is going to come up. Be ready to discuss them. Be honest, put in the best light, and don't lie. Be confident and unapologetic. Don't embarrass the answer because they probably heard many things before. If you had to take time off to care for a sick relative, which is very common, just be honest about that. And also bring up the good of what came out of that time. What did you learn from that situation? What were the responsibilities of your last position? This is a great chance to share your accomplishments and give examples of where you provided value and were proactive to your previous employer. And just really broad one. What do you know about our company or industry? Show that you did your research. This will make preparation and practicing your answers especially important, as you'll have to have the information on recall. Better yet, carry some notes with you if you want to carry some key statistics about that company. Just keep writing notes. Keep your usually when I go to job, you'll have a resume, have a cover letter. Also, just have a few jot down notes about the company so I don't blank while I'm answering questions. And finally, it's a very minor one, but what do you do outside of work? Be encouraged to share anything that shows you have grown as a person, focus on self-improvement or relates to the job. Like say if you help coach like sports teams, something that's good. If you're going to a leader position, that's something really good to share. Now, asking. This is something a lot of good candidates that just they happen to leave out. They forget to ask the employer questions of them, and that can cost you a job. Hopefully, after you nail all those questions that you were asked, or while answering them, ask the employer questions. This is not a job interview is not an inquisition. It may feel like it, but it's not. It should be a conversation. One of the most important things you can do during the interview is ask the employer about the job, what they care about, and to clarify what they need. Again, this is a lot of things. This is something that people skip over, maybe just because of nerves. You're just trying to do your best to answer questions, but you want to be comfortable enough to be able to ask questions about the company. And I've just included some very basic ones to keep on hand for the end of the interview or during. What is the next step? Like what we can do next? Like once the interview is over, what's going to happen in the job hiring process? What do you expect to accomplish in 6 months? That's a good one. What is the key to success in this role? What will my day-to-day routine be like? And this last one I like, because where else in the company could my skills be used? Because say maybe you don't get this position, but if you gave a good interview and you're just talking with them and they bring up another position that you might be a fit for, they might pass your resume along to another hiring manager, or they might tell you about opening they might have in the future. Again, just because you have one interview or just a bad interview, one employer, let's say if you just have one interview that doesn't land a job with that one employer, that one instance, you're still building a relationship to them to some extent. Now, what we've been doing here is basically all preparation. There's more concrete things we can do to prepare, especially the day before the interview. But for the day of the interview, this is what I recommend you do when the alarm goes off. Clothing, not great clothing, just dress properly. The general guideline is one step up from where you would be, what the normal attire for the job would be. Get a full night's sleep. This might be hard. Interviews can be stressful, but do your best to get to bed early and just be fully rested. Eat breakfast, or at least some if you're nervous. But I'd recommend to try to get some breakfast down. I mean, not a big one, but just enough because this is what teachers say a lot before tests, and you should think of this partially as a test. This should be obvious, but have the directions. Just know where you're going in advance. Know what the traffic's gonna be like. Better yet, if you have time to a couple days before, I would just go with location just to plan the drive out. If it's like a customer service job or something that has like front-facing staff, feel more than welcome just to go into wherever the job is and just like look around. What are they doing? What's it look like to just be there? If you can, maybe chat with some employees, see how they like working there. And then finally, just get there early. Just not one just so you don't have to rush, but just find out where you're supposed to go. Like once you get there, like if there's someone who's at the desk, like who I'm meeting with, when the hiring manager gonna be there. This also gives you a chance to review the job description and your materials, just to see what they're actually looking for. Just keep asking up the questions that we previously went over. And if you get there early, it also gives you a chance to learn more about the company. Yeah, you can find a lot about the job just by walking around from then just reading the job description. And this will also give yourself a couple moments to just comfortable in the space. Because you may potentially be working here. Just get a sense of like, do I want to work here? Is this something that I would enjoy doing? Now, post interview. Interview doesn't end. The interview isn't over once they're out of questions. Generally, there's also going to be a tour, which gives you a chance to ask even more questions. And it might even be easier to answer questions because you have something to focus on. We're not just going off a list. We're just going around conversing with whoever's doing the hiring about their company. And you can find some really interesting conversation threads. You just walk around, point things out. And now, depending on the job, it may be appropriate to send a follow-up thank you letter for the interview. This lets you reset your interests, qualifications, and anything that came up during the interview. Don't make any apologies for anything that happened during the interview. We want to focus on the positive things we did right. And something small like this can be the tipping point in your favor. And it's final. If the interview went well, good. But even if it didn't, this is just one out of the many you might possibly be doing. I'd recommend just give yourself the day. If it's a real bomb, maybe you want to make another day, but get back in the saddle and apply to at least one other job next day. Now practice. I've included a short exercise if you want to practice with me or someone else, and also include some resources that can help prepare as well. Now this is a short exercise I put together. Like I said, anyone here, we could try it out to now, or as you just like I said, find someone who you like to do it with. Think of a job that you would like and is attainable. Better yet, like find a job posting for something you would like. Brainstorm for a few minutes. Prepare an answer for each of the questions. Find someone who you trust and run a practice interview with them. Explain the position to your partner. If the partner doesn't know much about the industry, help them along. Again, I'm restating the 3 questions. Why do you want to work here? Why should we hire you? Why did you leave your last job? Why do you want to leave? And if you want, it's at least those 3 questions, but you can cover the others as well. Anything that's like specific to your industry or anything else you've noticed that comes up a lot during interviews. That's all I have today, but I would like to make you aware of several library programs that could help you when you're searching for a job or using journals. Like I said, get today, if maybe you have trouble speaking in public, or you want to improve your delivery. We recently started a Toastmasters group with the local Chamber of Commerce, and that's one of the best ways to really drill like your ability to communicate. It meets monthly, last Monday of the month, And it's just a fun club where people come together and we just practice to speak in public. This could be just like short prompts where you'd speak like a minute and a half about something you pull out of a fishbowl. Those are real fun. Those are called table topics. Or you could pursue planned speeches. Like maybe you'll speak for like 5-10 minutes on a topic, and then you'll get really good feedback from other speakers and members of the community. I used to be a member. Now I'm currently their vice president of education, which means I just do the scheduling. But it's a lot of fun. I encourage you to join us. Maybe you're thinking of starting a business. We also partner with an organization called SCORE, specifically the SCORE Fox Valley chapter, and they have a monthly workshop here at the library, and they offer a number of services as well. One of the most valuable ones is one-on-one mentoring. So you have a business idea you're trying to get off the ground, or maybe you're having trouble in your business. You can match with a SCORE mentor from a number of industries to help you work on your game plan. Again, like I said, we have a monthly workshop here where they discuss various business topics. One that did really well a couple months ago was on Google My Business, where you had someone come in and just tell them like, what do you need to make your business viewable in Google, which is vitally important to getting awareness to survive nowadays. They also have an extensive library of articles, guides, and information on their website. Again, maybe you're not in our area, but there's SCORE chapters all across the United States. So whenever you are, and you're thinking of your business idea, I would talk to SCORE first. The service we offer just at the library is computer classes. We'll be bringing back in-person computer classes in the fall. Maybe you want to sharpen your Microsoft Office skills. We'll have classes on Word, Excel, PowerPoint. Again, they'll be there in January. If you're in school, maybe you're going for maybe a certificate, and you might have a test that requires proctoring. We have a dedicated proctor here at the library. So if you want to schedule that in advance, call the number 680-685-4178, and you'll connect to our proctoring librarian to set that up. Now for EResources, one I always recommend to any job seeker is Brainfuse Job Now. They have a number of services focused on redoing your resume, writing a cover letter, interview practice, and general career coaching. There's some very valuable services, specifically the resume writing. That can be kind of pricey depending on where you go, possibly to $100. But they do have a dedicated writing lab. You just submit your resume in or cover letter. They'll take a look at it and get it back to you within 24 hours, and with a bunch of useful tips and changes. Again, they also have a number of live coaches who can help you with a number of things. Maybe you have an idea of what you want to put in your resume. They also have interview coaches. So if you want to go through specific questions, they can help you find questions for your industry and just workshop answers you could give. It's a very useful service. I always recommend it. Again, they also have a number of tools, guides, and several other things to help you just figure out where you are in your career and just to do better. And last but not least is LinkedIn Learning. It used to be with Linda, but it got bought by LinkedIn, so that's LinkedIn Learning. It's a really valuable service that offers a number of courses in business, career, and technology skills. And they have a lot on not only preparing for interviews, but giving interviews as well. What the ones I always recommend is mastering comprehensive questions. It's very basic. It's it. And then interview fundamentals. I watched it yesterday. It has a bunch of really well-done tutorials on just answering specific questions, and it's really well done. And last, giving your elevator pitch. This not just goes for interviews, but say if you're in a networking situation and you're trying to find job opportunities, learning how to sell yourself is very important. And all this can be found on our website at fountaindale.org under EResources. Now that's everything I have today. If you have any questions, you can reach my email, phone, or just go to the website for more information. Thank you for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.